and welcome. Today we're going to do a what sold video. I don't think I'm going to have like a specific theme to this other than just showing you decent items. So we're not going to worry about how fast it sold or anything. I may go ahead and mention how long they took to sell, but yeah, I just want to share some sales with you guys and try to stay on track with sharing everything with you. The way this works is if you try to do the math based on what I'm telling you, the math is not going to math, okay? That's because there are factors I'm not including, like discounts, things like that. But what we'll do is we'll talk about how much the item sold for, what I paid for it, what fees I paid, and the profit before tax. So that's what I usually share with you guys. Let's go ahead and jump in. No need to waste time. Okay, so first we're going to talk about one that is a bread and butter that comes up all the time. It's one I wish I would stop picking up, but it still somehow pulls through enough for me to continue buying it. And that is pure J-Gel, or J-Gel in general. Really. So I'm a lot pickier these days, and there's some great seasons where it sells like crazy, and there's other seasons where it doesn't. This is a pure J-Gel shirt that was extra large. It had a burnout texture to it, extra large, very basic piece from this brand, and as usual, it pulled a bread and butter. Honestly, lately they've been going for even less than this, so it's nice to get it for this amount. It took 130 days to sell on Poshmark for $24. I originally paid $4 for it. Fees were $3.79, so I made a profit of $16.21 on that shirt. Next is another Poshmark sale, and that is a Bowden dress. It was a 14R polka dot, and it had this quilted texture. Really, the reason I got it is because of the quilted texture. I knew that with winter coming, quilted textures are going to be something people look for. There was nothing that special about it, to be honest. I was surprised it sold as fast as it did. I figured it'd sell for around the price it did, so it actually sold faster than I thought. It sold on Poshmark in 12 days for $25. This is also an older style. I don't remember the exact age of it off the top of my head, but it's not a newer tag, so it's a bit old. But somehow it still made a sale fast for me, which is great. So yeah, they paid $25 on Poshmark in 12 days. I had paid $3.99 for it. The fees were also $3.99, and my profit was $17.02. Okay, I think this was a time when eBay was kind of dead, don't know why, and all the other platforms were picking up for me. So now we're going to talk about a Mercari sale, which is a platform that's starting to move a little bit faster for me, not by a ton, but that is the Florenzi maxi dress. It was a size 22W, pink. I think I put business casual to explain it in the keywords. I got it because of the linen blend and the size and the style. I thought the three of those things would work together, and it did. It sold on Mercari in 121 days for $30. I originally paid $2.65 for it. The fee was only $2. As you guys know, Mercari does not have fees. But what I do is the first item of like each month that gets bought, I just put the $2 fee on that item so that it is accounted for somewhere in that month, because I only withdraw the funds once a month. And that made up my profit $25.35. Also, if you're not aware, they are changing their fee structure again, so you probably have gotten an email, or you can go to their website and find it. There are changes coming to that fee structure, so be aware of that. Okay, next is another Poshmark order. I told you, eBay was just dead at this time. And this is a Theory skirt. Now this skirt, Theory is like a hit or miss brand. It is an expensive brand, but it's one that doesn't always move, to be honest. But I knew that this style would do great, not to mention the material. This was a tweed wool angora cashmere blend skirt, and it had the like quiet luxury, old money, dark academia look. So I figured it would do just fine, and it did. So it sold on Poshmark in 17 days for $58. I paid $3.74 for it, and the fees were a hefty $11.60, but I still made a profit of $42.66 on that item. So yeah, these dark academia skirts seem to be something doing really well. So keep an eye out for those ones, especially if they're made of good material like that was. I had a feeling on where to price it, and it seems like I priced it just right to get what I thought I could for it. Okay, this next one we're going to talk about, even though it was returned because the person said it didn't fit. It was a good sale nonetheless if it wasn't for fit, but they returned it in the same condition, new tags and everything. So Elagia is a brand that I had never heard of before I found this, but this dress, it's a brand that, you know, you would pay up for. Yeah, they have a lot of pieces that go for in the hundreds. So not by a ton of hundreds, probably like $100, $200 dresses. It's spelled E-L-A-G-I-A, in case you're wondering and can't see the screen or anything. I sold it on eBay for $50. Now it did take 238 days. I think I need to use some better keywords. I think I'm gonna redo the keywords now that I have it back in my hands, but nonetheless, it sold for $50. I had only paid $2 for it. The fees were $8.23. There was a promotional fee of $3.17. So that gave me a profit of $39.44 for this dress. Hopefully with doing new keywords, you'll see it again in a video selling for good money still and faster. Okay, next is another Mercari item. So this is a Catherine's. It was new with tags and it had the art on the front. I'm pretty sure that's the Rockefeller tree in New York. I'm pretty sure. I was afraid to use certain terms in the keywords because I don't know if you are allowed to talk about the Rockefeller tree or things like that. So I wasn't sure what to do. So I skipped putting that in there and still described it in other ways. It's a 2XR2224W. And as you can see here, it's just really nice art on it of a New York Christmas cityscape. So I figured it would do just fine, and it did. It sold on Mercari for $75. No, sorry, for $30 in 75 days. That's what I meant to say. I paid $5.29 for it, and there were no fees because this was Mercari, so I made a profit of $24.71 on this Christmas shirt. Okay, next we have these cool pants. They are the free generator. You guys probably just heard all the sounds in the background. As you guys know, I have kids, I have a family, there's noises. I'll never have perfectly quiet videos, but I do try. Right now, one's working on some independent homeschool work, and the other one is playing some PBS Kids games so that I can film this for you guys. But yeah, so this is Cool Pants, the free generator. It's spelled G-E-N-E-R-A-T-R, and they're a size 34 by 34. And what I did was I actually went to the solds of this pants because it was kind of like price ranged all over the place, hit or miss type stuff. So I looked at the ones that got a higher sale price when it was sold, and I just used those keywords. So those keywords that I used were outdoor, hiking, camping, pockets, and tapered. Those seem to be ones that really helped sell this pair of pants. So I was very specific on what keywords I used, and that sold on Poshmark in 11 days for $33. I paid $5.29 for them. The fees were $6.60. That left me with a profit of $21.11. Funny enough, eBay is still out. Usually eBay is my top one, but this was a time where it just wasn't moving on eBay. So next we're moving back into Poshmark here. This is a Jessica McClintock dress, and it was a really cool one I actually found while on a trip to California, and it was really cool. It had this really interesting cape on the back of it with a bow, and I figured that would be a good selling point for this. Jessica McClintock is a brand to consider when you find it. I feel like depending on the piece, it could do great, it could do not so great, just depending, but I felt like this one would do good, and it did. So it sold on Poshmark for I keep mixing up the days. It sold on Poshmark in 116 days for $54. I had paid $7.99 for it. I figured prices would be higher in the California thrift stores. This Goodwill actually didn't have set prices. They kind of just decided prices, which isn't often what I see in Goodwills, but it was another state. Yeah, $7.99 is what I paid. The fees were $10.80, so I made a profit of $35.21. But yeah, just a really cool vintage dress from Jessica McClintock. So if you find this style, I would recommend picking it up. And I used keywords like satin, velvet, cape, bow, color block to describe it. So between the brand and those words, I think that's what did it. It had enough features to sell it for that. All right, now we have our first, I think it's our first eBay of this video. And this is an Eliza J dress. Eliza J is an expensive brand, and I feel like it's a hit or miss brand, to be honest. I wish it would sell better for me. What is her name? Once again, I mentioned her in the last What Sold video, I think. No, I mentioned her in my last haul. Merida, is that her name? From Thrift and Thrive. She sells a ton of Eliza J. I don't know how long she's sitting on the pieces though to get these prices, but they usually don't go for what I see her selling them for. I'm not sure what the difference is. I probably need to look into more of what she's selling and pay attention to her styles versus mine. But nonetheless, this was one that did work out pretty well for me. Now it did sell, it took 208 days to sell, which isn't ideal, but it's less than a year, which I prefer. And it sold on eBay, as I said, for $48. Now I paid $10.99 for it, so that is a steep price. I don't know if I would pay that again for it. The fees were $6.78. There was a promotional fee of $2.58. So I made a profit of $22.30 on this dress. So it wasn't an ideal sale, even with it being a $40 sale, because I just paid too much into it. Not sure why I did that. Sometimes we make mistakes, you know. So if anybody has any great insight on Eliza J and what makes it sell, let me know, because I'm open to hearing it, because it's a brand I find a lot, so I want it to work out for me. All right, so fun fact about this next item. I was at the bins and I found this item right after being right next to Kaylee Lane and realizing it was her. So yeah, I was just at the bins this day and I noticed like a Hulkin bag and I was like, that looks like the one Kaylee uses. If you don't know who Kaylee is, I will link her channel down below. She's a great resource. She also runs Resellers Edge University, which I'm part of and I've talked about before a little bit. But yeah, she was there. I saw the bag and then I looked up and I realized her voice and that it was her. So I was like, hey, I know you. And we talked for a minute. So that was a great little experience. It was my first time running into Kaylee out in public. With that being said, this is a Pact bra. If you don't know, Pact is a brand that people do seek out currently. The bras I wasn't sure about though. I never came across a bra, but considering it was the bins, I figured pick it up and try it out. The comps look like somewhere from $10 to $20 and maybe, you know, maybe a quick time frame. Ends up I was right. So I did get it. I only paid 98 cents, which is the great part. So I flipped 98 cents. That's too easy to do. So I took the first offer I got. It was a Mercari order in 7 days and they offered $10. So I took it. 98 turned to 10. Works great for me. And there were no fees because I already added the $2 fee to that first item I talked about. So I made a profit of $9.02 on that bra. Now this next item was one that I picked up style-wise. It was specifically just for style. And it was this vintage Northcrest corduroy jacket and it had like the ribbing of the corduroy. It was very 90s style. I figured it would sell for how much I didn't know, but I knew it would sell. And I was right. There was a lot of interest on it on all the platforms that it was on, but nobody was biting for a minute. Not sure why. And then I put it on a sale and it sold on the sale price. So it sold on eBay in 27 days for $26.40. I had paid $2.16 for it at the bins and my fees were $5.52. I made a total profit of $21.65 on this item. But yeah, it was specifically, it was a 90s style corduroy. That's the style I knew that was going to do well. It's something that's just trending. Not much else to explain beyond that. It's just a simple piece that looks like vintage corduroy from the 90s. So that's what simply sold it. Okay, next is a Lululemon item. It is their Swiftly Tech short sleeve shirt. I think that this is their Lululemon Athleta line. I think, I'm not sure. It's something that does have some interest and follow online. And it was a really nice color. I found this at the bins as well. So it sold on Mercari in 37 days for $22.55, which isn't bad for what it is. It's like a bread and butter type item. So I paid $2.16 for it. There were no fees. So I made a profit of $20.39 on that item. Pretty simple. We all know Lululemon is something that people look for. It was a simple piece that, you know, it doesn't fetch a big dollar like some of the other Lululemon items, but for a little stretchy shirt that was really small, you know, I'll take it. And the last one is a Poshmark order. Poshmark and Mercari just ruled this whole video. It was a Lily Pulitzer item. So let me talk about that. Now this is called the Blakely top. And I think I only put the name of the top if I feel like it's going to add to the sale of the item. So it must have had enough comps with that word to make me decide to keep it in there. So yeah, just a Lily Pulitzer Blakely top, kind of like a peasant style as far as the silhouette of it. And it has its wild colors, you know. Lily Pulitzer is known for those really vibrant patterns, and that's what I had going for it. It is an off-the-shoulder top as well. Also, before I forget, quick side note, you'll see a difference in my photos these days. It's because I don't take my photos anymore. Somebody else does. We'll talk about that in a future video, but just making that side note in case you're wondering why things look a little different. But yeah, so this is the Lily Pulitzer Blakely top, size large, off-shoulder. I used words like resort wear, preppy, classic, boho woven. It's not the usual coral pattern. It looks like it was like leaves, and I guess, is that coral or is that flowers? I'm not sure what the up close pink spots are. It almost looks like flowers, almost looks like leopards. I don't know. But whatever it is, it did well enough that I got a lot of offers on it. I didn't like the offers, so I didn't take them. I did eventually get a decent offer of $36 for this top, so I took that. And it sold on Poshmark in 8 days. So it was a lot of offers for an 8-day time frame. I didn't realize how fast that was that it sold. But yeah, Poshmark in 8 days for $36. I paid $5.29 for it and the fees were $7.20. So I made a profit of $23.51 on that Lily Pulitzer top. All right, we're gonna go ahead and stop there. If you want to check out more on my channel, over here you have all the info to check out some more videos. You're definitely welcome to go do that. We have plenty more what solds and hauls on this channel. And other than that, I'll see you in the next video. Have a good day.